This story doesn't begin with love. It begins with fear. In a massive city where people come to erase their past, one man is desperately trying to survive his. Ching works as a delivery driver, just another anonymous face in the crowd. 10 years ago, he ran away from his hometown and started over in Ad City, hoping to leave everything behind. But some pasts don't stay buried. One delivery changes everything. The door opens, and the moment Ching looks up, his entire body freezes. Standing in front of him is Mo, his cousin, the one person he never wanted to see again. 10 years have passed, but the fear is still there. Mo smiles calmly and says it's been a long time. Ching's hands begin to tremble. The package slips from his fingers and hits the ground. Panic spreads through him. He doesn't just dislike Mo, he is terrified of him. Ching tries to leave, but Mo grabs his wrist. When Ching calls him crazy and tells him to let go, Mo quietly pulls out a newspaper. There's a photo. Ching's photo. The headline accuses him of being involved in child exploitation, a scandal that destroyed his life once before. Mo calmly reminds him that if this news reaches his workplace, nobody will ask questions, they'll believe it. Ching desperately explains it was false, a lie that ruined everything. Mo's response is chilling. He says he'll keep the secret if Ching belongs to him. What follows completely breaks Ching. He begs Mo to stop and reminds him they are cousins, family. But Mo says he never saw him as family. He claims he has loved Ching since childhood and even points to the scars on Ching's hands as proof of that love. Ching offers money, anything, just to make him stop. Mo refuses. He doesn't want money. He wants Ching. Afterward, Mo says he has imagined this moment for years, that he finally has what he always wanted, and that he loves him. Inside his mind, Ching feels only regret. If he had never met Mo 10 years ago, maybe his life would not have become a nightmare. The story shifts to the past, 10 years earlier, at a funeral where Mo stands silently beside his mother after his father's death. Ching asks his own mother who they are, and she explains that he grew up with his grandmother, which is why he never met this side of the family. She also reveals that Mo's mother had left her husband years ago and returned only after his death. Later, Ching hears shouting from a room and sees through a slightly open door that Mo is being beaten by his mother for dirtying his clothes. She screams that he will die just like his father. Mo suddenly turns, their eyes meet, and Ching quickly shuts the door. But the image stays with him. Time passes, and the two houses stand side by side. Ching's house and Mo's house. Neighbors, but emotionally worlds apart. One day, Ching visits Mo's house with his mother. The house is unnaturally clean. Mo is resting in his room, and when Ching enters, the first thing Mo says is to remove his slippers because his mother is obsessed with cleanliness and will beat him if the floor gets dirty. Shocked, Ching removes his shoes and admits he has seen Mo being hit before, asking if that is the reason. Mo immediately becomes defensive and questions why Ching is talking about him at all. Ching realizes they barely know each other, yet he cannot ignore what he has witnessed. Trying to change the mood, he mentions another cousin who is good with children, but Mo dismisses him rudely, which irritates Ching. He scolds Mo and tells him to behave properly so his mother won't hit him again. Mo snaps and tells Ching to stop pretending like he understands anything. Losing patience, Ching reminds him that he is older and his cousin, then points at the bruises on Mo's hands and says anyone who sees them would think he is being abused. Mo's response is cold. He asks if Ching would feel bad if that happened. Frustrated and angry, Ching replies that with Mo's attitude, maybe he wouldn't, and then he walks away, not realizing that this moment is only the beginning of something far darker. Later that evening, just as Ching reaches his room, Mo calls out to him from the balcony. His voice sounds light, almost playful. Ching looks up and asks what he wants. But instead of answering, Mo suddenly throws a paper airplane. It glides through the air and hits Ching right on the forehead. Annoyed, Ching picks it up and unfolds it. Inside is a drawing, his own face, sketched in simple lines. Underneath it, Mo has written 2 words, ugly cousin. Ching's face darkens. He looks up and shouts, "Am I that ugly?" Before Mo can respond, Ching's mother steps outside and interrupts the moment. She tells Ching that since it's summer vacation and he's free, he should help Mo with his homework. Ching immediately refuses, saying he's not going to tutor that kid. But his mother doesn't back down. She reminds him that Mo and his mother are living alone and asks if he can at least do this one small favor. Ching angrily gestures toward Mo's house and says he doesn't want to spend time with him. Meanwhile, Mo stands there quietly, listening to every word. His mother continues, saying that once Ching spends time with Mo, he'll naturally start getting along with him. Ching still resists, but she grabs his ear and scolds him. She explains that Mo lost his father at a very young age. He doesn't cry. He doesn't complain. He endures everything silently. She says Mo is a good child, not like Ching was at that age. They don't have money. His aunt is sick. Sometimes they even struggle just to survive. Hearing this, Ching remembers the day he saw Mo being beaten. With a heavy sigh, he finally agrees to teach him. The next day, Ching goes over to Mo's house. The moment he sees him, he realizes things are worse. The bruises are clearer, darker. Ching's anger explodes. He demands to know what's going on and what is wrong with his aunt. He says no child should be treated like that this has gone too far. He grabs Mo's hands and asks if it hurts. Mo looks at him quietly and asks, "Do you feel bad for me?" That question makes Ching uneasy. It feels familiar, trying to cover his discomfort. He snaps and says Mo looks like a wounded puppy or a stray kitten. As he opens the cupboard to get medicine, Mo softly asks, "Am I really like a puppy or a kitten?" Ching rolls his eyes and replies, "Yes. A stupid puppy. You don't even know when to treat your wounds." Suddenly, Mo bites his hand. Ching yells in pain, "What are you, a dog? Why did you bite me?" Mo immediately starts barking like one. The strange reaction catches Ching off guard, and his anger fades. He sighs and says Mo isn't a stupid puppy. Then he asks again, more gently this time, why he bit him. Mo doesn't answer. Instead, Ching carefully cleans his wounds and wraps fresh bandages around his hands. While doing it, he tells Mo that next time, if his aunt hits him like that again, he should come straight to his house. Mo shakes his head quietly and says the injuries weren't caused by his mother. He claims he hurt himself. Ching studies his face and asks if his mother told him to say that. He tells Mo he shouldn't forgive her so easily. Then, placing his hand gently on Mo's forehead, he says that hitting a child like this is wrong, and Mo knows it. Mo slowly nods, but his expression remains unreadable. After that, Ching steps out of the room, his chest tight with anger. Standing in the hallway, he mutters to himself that what he just saw wasn't discipline, it was cruelty. In the living room, Mo's aunt is calmly mopping the floor as if nothing happened. Ching finally speaks up. He says children make mistakes, but that doesn't mean they deserve to be beaten like that. He points out that Mo's injuries look painful, not accidental. The aunt looks at him coldly and tells him it's none of his business. Ching doesn't argue, but he notices something strange. There are scratch marks on her hands. He says nothing more and leaves. When he reaches home, he tells his mother that Mo is being abused. His mother immediately shuts him down, asking what kind of nonsense he's talking about. Ching insists and describes the cuts and bruises on Mo's face and hands, asking what they look like to her. Mo's mother, without hesitation, claims children are fragile and get hurt easily. She tells Ching to stop interfering. Ching pushes further and says he has personally seen her hitting Mo. She denies it instantly and shifts the blame, saying Mo's father used to hit him when he was drunk, and once she lost control and beat her husband so badly that he ended up hospitalized. Then she calmly asks Ching if he truly believes a mother like her would hurt her own child. That question makes him hesitate. Slowly, doubt creeps in. Maybe he misunderstood. Maybe he overreacted. A few days later, Ching visits again. He notices Mo's wounds have healed. He carefully asks if his mother hasn't hit him for the past 2 days. Mo doesn't answer directly. His mother stands near the doorway, watching silently. Mo looks at her and says, "I'm a good child." His mother turns away and leaves. Ching feels unsettled. What kind of good child behaves the way Mo does? Trying to lighten the mood, Ching gently pinches Mo's cheek and says his face looks like an angel. But his words make people angry. Mo calmly replies, "You're handsome. And your hands are beautiful too." Ching freezes for a second, unsure if he's being mocked. Then he laughs it off and says it's the first nice thing Mo has ever said to him. Since that's the case, he suggests they go out and have some fun. He grabs his slippers and proposes going fishing at the lotus pond, collecting lotus seeds together. Mo agrees quietly. Before leaving, Ching tells Mo's mother he's taking him out to play. She doesn't respond. Ching notices she keeps wiping the same clean floor again and again. Even when he steps out wearing slippers, she immediately scrubs the area he walked on. Outside, Ching jokes that Mo's mother cleans too much. Mo replies softly that sometimes she washes her hands over and over again, until her skin bleeds. Ching takes Mo to his small shop and buys him an ice cream. Mo eats it slowly, savoring every bite. Ching asks if he likes it, and Mo nods. Ching tells him he doesn't need permission if he wants more food. There's plenty at his house. While standing there, Ching notices a newspaper headline about a child molester still roaming the city, uncaught. He scoffs and mutters that monsters like that really do exist in this world. Then he gently places a hand on Mo's head and warns him not to wander around alone. There are dangerous people out there. Later, near the water, Ching casts a fishing rod into the pond and hands it to Mo. He playfully places a lotus leaf on Mo's head and tells him to keep it there. Ching steps into the water and gathers fresh lotus seeds. He gives one to Mo and asks how it tastes. Mo says it's slightly sweet and slightly bitter. Ching explains that the bitter center of the lotus seed is called the heart, and it's meant to be removed because it ruins the taste. He casually says that some things are better thrown away. Mo looks at him with unusual seriousness and asks something that makes the air feel heavier. If someone makes him feel miserable, can he throw that person away too? For a second, Ching doesn't know how to respond. The question feels too deep for a child. After a pause, he gently places a hand on Mo's shoulder and changes the subject, asking if he'd like to stay at his house for a few days. Mo's eyes widen with genuine surprise. He asks if he really can. Ching smiles and says yes, but only if he behaves well and doesn't cause trouble. Mo immediately brightens and compliments him, saying he's very handsome. Ching laughs and brushes it off, teasing that Mo is just flattering him. Later, they manage to catch a fish, and on the walk back, Mo softly asks if he can stay with Ching forever. Without thinking, Ching says yes. He doesn't realize how seriously Mo takes that promise. As they continue walking, a stray cat approaches them. Ching kneels down and gently strokes its fur, noticing that one of its legs is injured. Mo suddenly tries to scare the cat away, making it panic. He tells Ching to leave it alone and go home, but Ching refuses. He says the cat is hurt and needs help. Back home, Ching carefully wraps a bandage around the cat's leg. When he's done, he tells Mo that his room is a little messy, but he's free to look around. Mo curiously explores the room and suddenly grabs an adult magazine from the shelf. Ching quickly snatches it away, telling him that it's not for kids. Mo then points at a poster on the wall and asks why the people are wearing such short clothes. Embarrassed, Ching takes the poster down and hides it too. He replaces everything with old childhood drawings. Mo studies them and asks if Ching made them. Ching nods, saying he drew them when he was little. Then Mo notices something else. Ching has kept one of Mo's old drawings safely stored. Seeing that, Mo smiles quietly, as if that small detail means everything. From that day on, Mo starts following Ching everywhere. Whether it's the street, the shop, or the pond, Mo is always right behind him. Even the injured cat limps along after them. Ching's mother jokingly comments that Mo and the cat have officially become Ching's partners. One night, Ching quietly gets out of bed and heads toward the bathroom, trying not to make noise. After washing up, he opens the door and nearly jumps in shock. Mo and the cat are standing right outside, staring at him. Startled, Ching asks what they're doing there. Slightly embarrassed, Ching tells him to turn off the lights and go back to bed properly. The next day, Ching asks his mother if she's seen the cat. He hasn't noticed it all day. She says she doesn't know and that she's busy. Later, Mo is shown sitting quietly, drawing. He colors a kitten's face red, then folds the paper and throws it into the trash. When Ching asks about the cat again, Mo casually suggests that maybe it healed and wandered off. Then he grabs Ching's hand and says they should go out and play. Ching asks where, and Mo says anywhere is fine, as long as they're together. Ching notices fresh scratches on Mo's hands again. Suddenly, Mo hugs him tightly and says Ching has to take care of him. The grip is so tight that Ching struggles to breathe and tells him to loosen up. Soon after, they visit a kindergarten where Ching's cousin works as a teacher. Ching is confused about why he's been called there and wonders if he's expected to babysit. His cousin explains that his own mother has been hospitalized, and there's no one to help manage things. He asks Ching to step in for a few days. Ching protests, saying he's not a teacher and doesn't know how to control children. His cousin reassures him that the kids are there because their parents are busy. All he needs to do is make sure they eat, do homework, and don't fight. Another teacher will assist him. When his cousin offers 400 yuan per day, Ching sighs and agrees. A few days later, Mo joins the daycare as well. One afternoon, he's sitting on a swing when two boys approach him. A thin boy claims the swing belongs to his boss and tells Mo to get down. Mo ignores him. The thin boy grabs Mo's collar, repeating himself. Without hesitation, Mo kicks him. The thin boy grabs Mo from behind while a heavier boy pulls his hair, threatening to teach him a lesson. Just then, Ching rushes in and firmly grabs the boy's wrist, ordering them to stop. His expression is so serious that both boys immediately back off. The heavier boy shouts that he's going to tell his father. Ching kneels down and holds Mo's face, asking if he's okay. Mo suddenly bursts into tears and says they were bullying him. Ching pulls him into a hug and gently reassures him that everything is fine now. He promises that no one will bully him again. He tells him to stop crying. The moment Ching finishes comforting him, Mo suddenly stops crying and smiles. It's subtle, but unsettling. For a second, it almost feels like the tears were never real. The next day, Mo quietly works on his homework while the classroom buzzes with noise and chaos. Ching already feels overwhelmed. Managing a room full of children is nothing like he imagined. Another teacher, Tia, is there to help. She laughs lightly and tells Ching not to stress so much. He'll get used to it, she says. Working with children can actually be wonderful. But before the atmosphere can settle, an egg suddenly hits her in the face. Her expression changes instantly. She raises her voice sharply, ordering everyone to be quiet. The room falls silent in seconds. The children rush back to their seats and pretend to focus on their homework. Tia smiles again and tells Ching to see. They're well behaved after all. Ching says nothing. Inside, he just wants to leave. As the days pass, something unexpected happens. The children begin gathering around Ching. They ask him questions, cling to his sleeves, fight for his attention. Tia jokes that she didn't think he would become this popular. Ching reminds himself he's only here for the money. That's all. Nothing more. One afternoon, while he's helping a child solve a math problem, Mo suddenly grabs his hand and says he needs help too. At the same time, another child pulls Ching's arm, asking him to come play. Without warning, Mo shoves the child away. The child falls hard and bursts into loud tears. Ching reacts immediately. He scolds Mo and tells him he can't push people like that. What if the child had been seriously hurt? Mo just stands there silently, staring. During lunch, whispers begin floating through the classroom. One child says someone confessed to liking Ching. Another says, Jia likes him too and thinks he's kind, not strict like the other teachers. They giggle and wonder why so many girls seem to like him. Mo hears every word. He doesn't react. He just listens. That evening, Ching walks home with Mo, feeling exhausted. He reminds himself again that this is temporary. He's just helping for now. Mo suddenly asks if Ching is still angry. Ching says he isn't angry, but Mo can't behave like that again. Mo replies in a calm but firm voice that Ching shouldn't scold him either, or he'll feel sad and angry. Ching calls him unreasonable. Suddenly, Mo shouts. He says Ching has no right to scold him. If Ching stays by his side, then he has to stay happy with him, every day, every second. Ching sighs and places a hand on his shoulder, telling him he won't scold him anymore. But deep down, he feels uneasy. This child can be frighteningly intense. That night, while Ching is asleep, he suddenly feels something crawling on his neck. Then it feels like dozens of leeches moving across his entire body. He wakes up in panic. Mo's hand is resting on his neck. Ching exhales sharply and mutters that because of that, he just had a nightmare. He quietly gets out of bed. As he moves, he accidentally knocks over the trash bin. A folded drawing falls to the floor. It's the picture of the cat. The next day at daycare, a girl named Mem bumps into Ching. He asks if she's okay, but she immediately runs away. In the classroom, the children begin looking at him strangely. Their eyes feel different, distant, suspicious. Ching feels something tighten in his chest. He asks Tia what's going on. Tia hesitates, then explains that Mem told her she thinks the child molester, mentioned in the newspaper, might be him. The words hit like ice water. Ching is stunned. Tia gently tells him not to worry. Children misunderstand things all the time. They spread rumors without knowing the truth. But even as she tries to comfort him, Ching can feel it. The shift. The whispers have started. And once rumors begin in a room full of children, they don't stay small for long. Ching goes straight to Mo. He asks him directly if he was the one who spread the rumor about him being a bad person. Mo calmly says that now those kids won't bother him anymore. Then he asks why Ching is angry. Ching tells him he's gone too far. Mo shrugs and calls the other kids idiots. Why does Ching care about them so much? Ching demands to know what he's really trying to say. He tells him lying and bullying are wrong, and he doesn't like seeing that side of him. Mo goes quiet, and in that silence, something clicks in Ching's mind. This wasn't random. Mo didn't spread the rumor carelessly. He did it so people would stay away. Ching then asks about the kitten. Mo replies coldly that it was just an animal. Was it more important than him? The question shocks Ching. Anger rises in his chest. He tries to respond, but Mo interrupts again. Are you angry at me? He asks. Do you want to hit me, the way my mother does? That question freezes Ching in place. For the first time, he sees it clearly. Mo is not an ordinary child. There's something darker beneath the surface. Something possessive. Something dangerous. A faint fear settles in Ching's heart. He tells Mo he would never hit him. Then he turns to leave. Mo calls out to him, but Ching says he doesn't want to talk right now. And as he walks away, he can feel it. This isn't just childish jealousy anymore. It's something far more complicated. That night, the tension doesn't disappear. It follows Ching home. His mother asks where Mo is. Ching says he doesn't know. She asks if they fought. He denies it. She sighs and tells him that whenever he faces a problem, he runs away instead of dealing with it. She lightly hits him on the arm and says if there's an issue, he should solve it, not avoid it. Then she orders him to go to Mo's house and invite him over for dinner. Reluctantly, Ching walks to Mo's house and stops near the gate. From there, he witnesses something unsettling. Mo suddenly throws a bowl of water onto the floor. The sound echoes. His aunt storms over, shouting that everything is dirty now. Mo responds casually, as if it's nothing. That single tone triggers everything. His aunt slaps him hard and cruelly says he should have gone to hell with his father, then orders him to clean it up. Ching watches in silence, confused. Why would Mo provoke her on purpose, knowing he'll get hit again? Because of the spilled water, the aunt changes her wet clothes. And in that accidental moment, Ching sees something he was never meant to see. He freezes. The realization hits him slowly and painfully. Mo's aunt is actually a man. The story pulls us into the past. A young Mo secretly watches his parents arguing behind a door. One voice shouts in frustration, "How are we supposed to live like this?" Another voice fires back, "Do you think society would ever accept me marrying a man?" The argument spirals. Identity, survival, love, shame, everything crashes together. Later, Mo sees one of his parents stepping outside wearing women's clothes. The image stays burned into his memory. Another flashback follows. Mo watches as his father brings a woman home. Rage explodes. A knife is grabbed. How dare you bring another woman into this house? The father tries to calm the situation, telling him to put the knife down. But the damage is already done. Back in the present, Mo's aunt sits in the bathroom, exhausted. He gently pats Mo's head and tells him to stop irritating him. When I get angry, he says, I can't control myself. The words sound less like an apology and more like a warning. The focus shifts to Ching. He returns home alone. His mother asks why he came back without Mo. But Ching isn't listening. His mind is still replaying what he saw. Hesitantly, he asks if it's possible that Mo's aunt is actually a man. His mother explodes. She hits him immediately and demands to know what nonsense he's talking about. Ching shouts that he saw everything with his own eyes. He says something looked strange, that the clothes didn't match. His mother becomes furious, accusing him of staring at adults inappropriately. She scolds him harshly and hits him again, saying she'll teach him a lesson. Ching tries to explain he wasn't spying, but no one listens. The next day at daycare, a bruise is visible near Ching's eye. Tia notices instantly. She asks what happened. He shrugs and says his mother hit him. Tia takes out a warm egg from her pocket and gently tells him to press it against the bruise to reduce swelling. As he does, he catches the scent of her perfume. He casually says she smells nice today. Tia smiles softly. She had worn it intentionally. As they laugh together, A little girl whispers to her friend that she knew it. Teacher, Tia likes Ching. And just like that, the whispers begin again. Soon, one of the children boldly asks if Ching and teacher Tia will get married in the future. Before Ching can even process the question, Mo speaks up. Calm, direct. He says Ching is going to stay with him in the future. He won't marry any girl. Another child argues back that boys grow up and marry girls. And since Mo is also a boy, that's impossible. Mo falls silent, but his eyes don't soften. Nearby, Tia and Ching continue talking. Suddenly, a paper ball hits Tia. She frowns and asks who threw it. Mo immediately apologizes and says it was an accident. Tia smiles and tells him to be careful next time. Then Mo politely asks if he can pat her head. Tia laughs and calls him a good child. While doing so, Mo's eyes lock onto Ching. And Ching understands instantly. It wasn't an accident. It was deliberate. A message. A quiet warning. The very next day at daycare, something feels off. The calm doesn't last long. Tia suddenly slips and crashes to the floor. She stands up angrily, demanding to know who poured detergent on the kitchen tiles. No one answers. The room goes silent. Later, after she helps the children lie down for their nap, Tia rests her head on her desk for a moment. When she wakes up, a sharp scream fills the classroom. Her hair has been cut, uneven, jagged, deliberate. Ching rushes toward her, asking what happened, but in that exact moment, he notices Mo quietly walking toward the door. As Mo steps out, a piece of paper slips from his hand and falls to the floor. Ching picks it up. It's a drawing of Tia. His chest tightens. Anger rises instantly. He grabs Mo's wrist and demands to know if he did all of this. Mo doesn't panic. He doesn't cry. He simply looks at Ching and asks, calmly, if he truly sees him as someone capable of that. Ching presses him again, asking about the kitten. Mo's expression changes slightly. Pretending to be a good boy, he says, is exhausting. Ching only likes him when he behaves. And then he says something that sends a chill down. Ching's spine. If Ching keeps liking other things, he'll remove them one by one. Slowly, Ching loosens his grip. The child standing in front of him doesn't feel like a child anymore. Suddenly, Mo hugs him and whispers that the kitten Ching liked will never be seen again. Then he laughs softly and says he fed it to stray dogs. In that moment, fear replaces anger. For the first time, Ching feels genuinely disturbed. He pushes Mo away. Just then, Tia approaches. Instantly, Mo begins crying, accusing Ching of blaming him for the haircut and even hitting him. Ching grabs his collar, telling him to stop pretending. But Tia steps in, saying Ching is frightening the child. She insists Mo is the most obedient student in the class. He could never do something like that. Frustrated, Ching drags Mo outside and tells Tia to stay out of it. This is between them. Outside the gate, Ching says kids like him don't belong in kindergarten. As he shuts the gate, Mo asks quietly if Ching likes Tia. He accuses him of doing everything for her. He reminds Ching of the promise he made, to stay with him forever. He calls him a liar. Then he says something horrifying. That girl will die soon. And the cat is already gone. Ching explodes. He says he hates people who hurt innocent animals. He will never stay with someone who harms others. He warns Mo never to curse Tia again. And even if he likes her, that's none of Mo's business. With that, he slams the gate shut. Mo grips the bars and cries. Later, Ching takes Tia to fix her hair. After the haircut, she asks how she looks. He tells her she looks good. But when he gets home, the calm shatters again. His mother asks why Mo isn't with him. Irritated, Ching asks if he's supposed to stay with Mo every second. Then she drops the news. Mo hasn't come home. His mother is panicking. No one knows where he is. And at the same time, there are reports that 2 children in the city never returned home from school. Ching doesn't hesitate. He says he's going to find him. The scene shifts to a locked room. 2 missing children sit inside, terrified. The door creaks open. Someone enters. Their fear grows. Meanwhile, Ching searches desperately through the streets. Then, from a narrow alley, Mo steps out. Ching demands to know what he's doing there. That's when he notices something else. Mo is wearing girls' clothes. Mo explains quietly that he once heard boys can only stay with girls. So he tried to become one, to make his father stay. But even then, his father left him. Ching feels his anger fade into shock. He tells Mo he doesn't need to change for anyone. He tells him to come with him. Suddenly, Mo pulls out a knife. He says as long as these things exist, he can't stay with Ching forever. He raises the blade toward his clothes. Ching lunges forward to stop him, and the knife slices his own hand instead. Blood drips. Seeing the injury, Mo panics, but Ching is furious. He calls him crazy, a psychopath. He says he never should have felt sorry for him. He says he hates him. Mo's voice trembles as he asks if Ching really hates him that much. Ching tells him to leave. He never wants to see him again. Mo runs, and from a distance, someone watches silently. The same shadow who cut Tia's hair. That night, Ching returns home with his head lowered and his thoughts heavier than ever. The moment he steps inside, his mother tells him Mo still hasn't come back. He doesn't respond. He just walks toward his room. She notices his distant expression and asks why he looks upset, whether something happened. Ching calmly says nothing happened and that he just wants to sleep. Once inside, he slowly pulls his hand out of his pocket. It's wrapped tightly in bandages. He stares at it, wondering how he's supposed to explain this injury if anyone asks. The next scene shows him sitting inside a small clinic. The doctor examines his hand and explains that the cut is deep enough to affect his movement for a while. Using his left hand will be difficult. He should be careful with his right hand too, especially since he's still studying. Ching quietly replies that he's left-handed. The next morning, Ching opens his bedroom door and freezes. Mo is standing outside near the window, smiling as if nothing happened. Calmly, he tells Ching not to try avoiding him. For reasons he can't explain, Ching feels a sudden wave of fear. He quickly shuts the door and asks himself why he reacted that way. Why does Mo's presence feel so unsettling now? He goes to the kitchen. His mother asks why he woke up late and whether he's going to daycare. Ching says it's a holiday. Then she begins reading aloud from the newspaper. 2 children have gone missing. One reportedly stabbed someone and escaped. The suspect hasn't been caught. There are rumors the victim's father attacked someone in anger with a knife. Ching remains silent. He goes back to his room and spends the day pretending to focus on comics, trying to drown out his thoughts. By evening, he hears voices outside. He looks through the window and sees his cousin speaking with a man he recognizes. Instantly, the same man who saw Mo running away in girls' clothes. The same man connected to Tia's hair incident. The man says he reported everything to the police. The missing children claimed they didn't know their attacker. But there was one clue. The suspect had an injured hand. Instinctively, Ching hides his own bandaged hand inside his pocket. His cousin says the police are furious they couldn't catch the suspect. But at least an important clue was provided. From the window, Ching calls out, asking when his cousin came back. The cousin ignores him and walks away. Confused, Ching glances across the street and sees Mo staring directly at him. How long has he been watching? Before he can react, his mother walks into the room. He quickly hides his hand again. She complains that he's been in his room all day and should help at the shop. She notices his suspicious behavior, grabs his wrist, and demands to know what happened. Ching insists it was just an accident. She pushes him to tell the truth. Frustrated, he snaps and calls her annoying. At that exact moment, a stone crashes through the window. He looks outside. It's the same boys who used to bully Mo. They shout that he's the criminal from the news. Ching angrily threatens them, but they run off laughing. Later, while managing the shop alone, Ching notices a crowd gathering outside. People whisper. Some point. Suddenly, police officers walk in. They say they received a report and that he is now a suspect. Ching asks what case they're referring to. Before he gets an answer, the father of one of the missing children storms inside and grabs him by the collar. He accuses Ching of kidnapping his daughter. He points to Ching's injured hand, claiming his daughter stabbed her attacker before escaping. The crowd erupts. Some call him a monster. Others say it's disgusting that he worked around children. Ching desperately denies everything. He insists he didn't do it. The officers decide to take him in for questioning. In the crowd, a reporter makes a call, saying tomorrow's headline will be explosive. Mo stands there silently, watching. Ching's cousin tells Mo he only told the police what he saw. As officers lead Ching away, he shouts that he's innocent. He points at Mo and says the injury happened when he stopped him with the knife. Mo can prove it. The police ask Mo if that's true. Mo calmly says he doesn't know. Ching's heart sinks. The victim's father tries to hit him again, but an officer steps in, saying there's still no solid evidence. Just then, Ching's mother arrives, demanding answers. The police explain they're only taking him in for questioning. As they pull him away, Ching looks at her and says he did nothing wrong. He's not that kind of person. Hours later, after intense interrogation and no real proof, the police release him. But outside the station, a group of angry citizens surrounds him. They shove him, slap him, and tell him to leave the city. When he finally reaches home, he sees posters plastered across the walls. Molester, why don't you die? His chest tightens. His heart pounds. Mo's aunt steps outside and tells him she knows he didn't do it. She says all this chaos started because of Mo. She promises to take Mo to the police station the next day to clear everything up. But Ching just laughs bitterly. It doesn't matter anymore. Even if he's innocent, the city has already judged him. Inside the house, his father slaps him hard across the face. His mother tries to stop him, reminding him the police found no evidence. His father throws the newspaper at him. The scandal has been running for 2 days straight. Their family's name is ruined. Even if Ching is innocent, people will say they raised a criminal. Without saying a word, Ching walks toward his room. His father shouts for him to come back. His mother tells the father to calm down and says they'll talk tomorrow. But as Ching closes his door, something crashes through his window from outside. The next morning, he tries to scrub graffiti off the walls. Strangers walk past and whisper. Some keep their distance as if he's contagious. A few throw stones and tell him to get out of town. Then Tia walks by. She sees him clearly. Their eyes almost meet. But she looks away and continues walking. That silence hurts more than the stones. Inside, Ching overhears his parents arguing. His father says the shop can't survive this. He says raising Ching brought them nothing but shame. He failed his university entrance exam, and now this scandal. They would have been better off raising a dog. His mother shouts back, asking if he ever cared about their son. The argument grows louder. Every word cuts deeper. Standing in the hallway, Ching feels something inside him break completely. That night, without telling anyone, he leaves home. 10 years pass. The city changes. The people change. But some pasts refuse to disappear. Ching is now living in another city, surviving day by day as a delivery worker. His life is simple on the surface. Pick up orders, drop them off, repeat. One afternoon, he gets a call about a new delivery. Before he can even move, someone suddenly wraps their arms around him from behind. It's his boss, Howley. Ching stiffens but doesn't react. He gently removes Lee's hands and walks away to finish the delivery. On the way, he can't help remembering how different his life once was, how he used to survive on leftover cafeteria food, how poverty forced him to work endlessly just to stay afloat. He tells himself he's stronger now. He just needs to keep going. He arrives at the customer's address and knocks on the door. A voice from inside tells him to come in. Ching steps inside, places the parcel down, and turns to leave when the man inside speaks again, asking if he truly doesn't recognize him. Ching looks up carefully. His breath stops. It's Mo, calm, composed, and watching him like nothing ever changed. Mo slowly pulls out an old newspaper, the same one from 10 years ago. The scandal, the accusation. He asks Ching what his current workplace would think if they discovered this past. Ching immediately insists it was all false. Mo listens quietly, then says something that tightens the air between them. If Ching belongs to him, he won't tell anyone. Ching's eyes darken. He asks if this is revenge. Mo steps closer, grabs his chin, and asks how Ching could think so badly of him. A memory surfaces. Before this reunion, Mo had already found him once. He followed Ching secretly and saw him inside a changing room with another man. He saw money being handed over. From a distance, it looked wrong. It looked like Ching was selling himself. That misunderstanding burned into Mo's mind. It disgusted him. It hurt him. It twisted something inside him. Back in the present, the tension between them shifts into something intimate, complicated, and suffocating. Later, Ching returns to work bruised and exhausted. His coworker notices the marks on his body and tells him to rest. Inside the restroom, staring at his reflection, Ching thinks to himself that even if he's living like a stray dog, controlled, used, humiliated, he still wants to live. His phone vibrates. A message from Mo. After work, come to my office. Don't forget, you belong to me. Ching clenches his jaw and throws the phone aside in frustration. Suddenly, Howley walks into the restroom. He casually tells Ching to take off his clothes so he can check the injuries. Ching refuses, But Lee doesn't back down. Instead, he pulls out a contract and reminds Ching that he signed it. If he wants to quit, he'll have to pay an impossible amount of money. The contract traps him, financially and emotionally. Lee smiles and says he met a beauty recently and plans to marry her soon. He drags Ching along to the hospital, saying he bought gifts and wants to apologize properly. Standing outside the hospital room, Lee excitedly pushes the door open and calls out happily. Inside the room, Ching sees something that makes his blood run cold. Sitting there is Mo's aunt, and standing beside him is Mo. Ching stands frozen, completely stunned.